Call. Come with me, lesbian seagull.
Everyone sit down and shut the fuck up! God damn it!
Yo, what's up guys? Amethyst Pudding here with a whole different way of doing story times. Tell me if you like it in the comments below or dislike it or if you hate it. And yes, the picture's meant to look like this crazy weird heat vision green filtered thing. Anyway, today's story, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while. It's Teacher Tales. Tales about teachers, from teachers, anything to do with teachers. There's going to be a trigger warning later in the episode, but we'll tackle that as it comes, cross that bridge as it approaches, or we approach it. Either way, I'm going to dive in. I have like 8 different teachers here, and no particular order of events. Let's see. We got my first teacher. We're going to call him Mr. Old Van Driesen. He's like a old hippie version of Mr. Van Driesen from fucking like Beavis and Butthead. I almost said King of the Hill. Same creator, but you know what I mean. And he was a cool guy. He taught this class of like history through film, where you just kind of sat and you watched different movies and you talked about them and wrote papers about them, but mostly you just sat and watched them. And this dude slept in class himself as a teacher. This was like an early bird class, which in my school was like a class that you go to early, like earlier than all the other kids, but you get to leave early too, unless you wanted to stay for the extra hour and get an extra credit or whatever. You know, it's not a huge incentive there unless you, I don't know, fucking wanted to get out an extra year early, you know. But he fell asleep a lot during class, and he was fucking chill, though. I liked him a lot. He was, like, into really, like, old 60s hippie music, of course, and he even had, like, things where we would have to, like, know, like, the songs from, like, the 60s, because we would do 60s stuff, and he'd, like, play a song, like, okay, who can I do, you know, and you call on us, like, who was that by, or, you know, what was that song's name, or who was it by? One of the two would suffice for him. He was a crazy guy. Really no particular story there, except that he fell asleep in class, which would allow other kids in the class to fall asleep. So everyone is falling asleep in the class. We were watching movies, like, let's see here, some of the, like, more typical movies, like Glory, you know, like movies you've probably already seen in other, like, history films. I think we watched Amadeus on fucking Laserdisc. I don't fucking know. He was into old school, like, we did slideshows sometimes. He was into, like, old school teaching methods, which is fine. I don't give a fuck. I mean, he was a cool teacher. He was really real progressive guy, real fucking like liberal. So he's you know, way more up my alley than most people in this fucking town, let me tell you. Yeah, he was a chill guy, and the class was awesome. Other movies that we did that were a little bit, I guess, out of the realms of, like, I get more people, like Enemy of the State. That was a good ass movie. It doesn't really have a lot to do with history of film, but somehow he fucking made it fit. And there was a couple other ones we did. I believe we did The Untouchables, which is a damn good movie. Damn good Robert De Niro as Al Capone and shit. I think Kevin Costner, if I remember right, is the main guy who was working, like, I think he was the FBI guy, even though we all know the FBI ain't necessarily always for our positive well-being now, don't we? Anyway, we got our next teacher, Mr. Sid, we're going to call him. He was a trigonometry, calculus, high math teacher, because I was in the advanced courses. Like, they had, like, a little A next to them, and they were, like, we had to sign, like, basically an agreement that if we did, like, one of the, I think it was for science or math, we had to sign them, and we had to, like, follow a certain schedule of, like, math courses. So, like, we didn't even take a lot of the math courses that most of the fucking high school students. We were supposed to be the destined college students, which I was, but that didn't work out too goddamn well. But either way, I mean, I graduated, so I guess it did, but, you know, either way. He was like an eccentric kind of guy. We were sitting with him one day, and he proceeded to just tell us a story about how, like, when he was in school, in high school, college, or whatever it be, that he would always do things, and he would, like, see numbers, and he said, like, yeah, I'd always get with, like, a group of people, and we'd always, like, talk, and, like, we would, like, do intellectual things and things that expanded our minds. And it's like we would see numbers and colors, and I'm like, they're not colors. He would see numbers and hear colors, is what he would say. And clearly he was talking about fucking acid, and he was clearly an acid guy from back in the day. He didn't really like clearly come out and say, "Oh yeah, I did acid," but there was not a lot of interpretation in it. He was definitely a connoisseur of the LSD, and that's fine. You know, I've done it before, which will be another story time at a music festival. I've done it confirmed. I mean, I got another story time other than that one about buying bunk acid before, fucking shit. But either way, that was the major story with him. He was a very hard teacher, very like talked well above most of the students, and it was like you had to like talk to him every day to even get your work done. But that's what advanced courses were, I suppose. So I don't know, the math ones in particular were always the worst out of all the advanced courses. Like science excelled, English excelled. I excelled in most of the math courses, but the ones that he taught in specific were just another realm. Maybe I should have done some acid and then walked in there. Maybe I would have understood it more. Either way, next teacher. This was a substitute teacher. We're gonna call him fucking Fat Luigi. You could cut the fucking, or you can leave it. Fucking Fat Luigi, FFL, if you will. He substituted a geography course. It was my freshman or sophomore year. I believe it was freshman. And he was subbing for the course, and I just got a bright idea into my head. Sorry if you heard the paper crumple. How dare I got to reposition. You're probably gonna hear some noises. But he substituted for the geography class, and I got into my head that I was going to pull some like fucking shenanigans. I don't know. I just kind of just spur of the moment almost. He was showing a video, as all substitute teachers tend to do when the teacher's out. There ain't nothing else to fucking do. It ain't like you're going to take anything he teaches you for granted anyway. So, so we put on a fucking movie, and, before the movie even like fully really gets going, like it's playing, but like it hasn't really got into anything yet. I just get up out of my goddamn seat. I shit you not. Get up out of my fucking seat, and I fucking walk up to the TV, and I just turn off the movie. Not only I don't even turn the TV off. I fucking like literally go up to the goddamn like VCR DVD combo that they had at the time, and I fucking sit there and I push the power button on the motherfucker. I don't even hit stop. I hit the power button. So they got like soft reset that motherfucker. You know what I mean? And he's like looking at me all shocked, like, like, what are you doing? And I just look at him straight faced, not even, deadpan, straight up. And I'm just like, Jesus told me to. I don't laugh though. I'm just laughing now because it's fucking hilarious. And he's like, get out of the class, get out of here. And like more than half the class was erupted in laughter, and the other half of the class was just like in shock. And like it was something else. And so like when my teacher came back, he had me serve a lunch attention and basically just sit there and ask me, like, was it a bet? Like, well, why did you do it? And I was like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny. And he told me, like, man to man, he's like, it was pretty funny. He's like, it was pretty funny. He's like, I wasn't here, but I could imagine. And he's like, but you still shouldn't do that. Blah, blah, blah. Makes sense. But the funny thing about that teacher is when I was working at the local bar that I worked at the time, he came in not semi-frequently, not even semi-frequently, not frequently, but not semi-frequently, but below a step even that. He was in there maybe like, I probably saw him a handful of times, but he was in there enough. But he bought me a beverage when I was underage even, and they're just like, fuck it, let him have it. And if they're gonna, his money's money. So I was like fucking, I don't know, 19. And he's like, hey, I remember you. You're a Jesus guy. He's like, Jesus guy. I guess that's what stuck with him. He's like, hey, you're Jesus man. And I'm like, yeah, that's me, I guess. He's like, what are you drinking? And I'm like, what are you buying? I just ended up getting a beer. I think a Blue Moon because that shit's fire. But yeah, he's an interesting guy. He's pretty chill. I think he thought it was probably funny too, but he couldn't. The joke was on him sort of, so he probably didn't like it in the moment. Next teacher we're going to call Mr. PE because he was not, funny thing is I call him Mr. PE, but not only was he a PE teacher, but he was a health teacher and he was a driver's ed instructor. Like our teachers fucking had to do triple duty sometimes, man. We living in the poor states, you know what I mean? The poor state. But, not really, I'm just kidding. But, he was a health teacher, and there's this fucking Meatloaf song, like something by Dashboard Lights, like Love by Dashboard Light. I don't know. Just look up Meatloaf Dashboard Light. Fucking song gonna come up. Oh my god! It's like, will you love me forever, for the end until the end of time? And it's like a musical rock opera song. Like, it's kind of what he's known for, Meatloaf. But he played that fucking song as a way to teach us about like the birds and the bees, kinda, and like he did it during like the fucking like love part. It was actually crazy. I don't know what's happening. That was supposed to be a big video. I don't know what happened. I guess you're gonna have to watch this video over again. I'm sorry. This is my first time doing this part, so, but either way, yeah, so he was a good teacher, though. He was a good guy. I mean, who uses that song, though, as a goddamn health example for any kind of love making or any kind of... It was hilarious, though. Oh, my God. And the way he, like, said the word penis, he had, like, a fucking... You know, like that hard... penis. He didn't say it that often, but when he said it, he like emphasized it. Somebody's like, he's like, yeah, so when we're sitting there and the woman is stroking on the penis, and it's like, why does he do it? I don't know if it definitely wasn't on purpose, but yet it was like something he couldn't help but to do, you know. Fucking hilarious, though. Let's see here. Next teacher we had, I'm gonna call her Mrs. No Flow. This woman, okay, there's a sub story to come from this story that's fucking amazing. So this woman here is a English teacher once again the advanced English teacher who tried to be like hip and cool. Like, she didn't really try that much, but she had like a thing called the like or English rap, or the fucking verb rap, or some fucking English related rap. And I don't know about you guys, but like the first thing I think of when I think of rap, I think of, hey, maybe we should rhyme in our fucking rap. Dude, no flow. That's why I call her Mrs. No Flow. No flow, no rhyme, no structure. It was just a fucking like free verse bullshit that was like not catchy, and it didn't teach me a damn thing. So me and my friend Rango, that was I think in a few other stories, and at this time, he and me would always like skip this class. Like, I'm not one to skip class at all, not much at all. And I just this woman in particular just it bored the shit out of me, and all the things she was teaching, quote unquote, teaching us, we already A, knew, and B, wasn't effective even if we didn't know it, and it wasn't like we were getting anything done. And she was horrible. I don't think she even taught that class even after that year. But we would skip class, and we would literally go to the, like, fucking walk around the school until, like, most of it was over, and then we'd show up and be like, oh, yeah, you know. We got in trouble for it a few times, but there was a vending machine down one of the hallways that had a hole like underneath it for some reason, and you can stick your hand up there just right when it was freshly filled. You can grab like the first 4 Gatorade, lemon lime Gatorades out that bitch, free charge. 5-finger discount, if you will. That shit was great. So we used to do that all the time with our friend. I don't know if I wrote his name down here or his nickname. Just, I did. Samson. Yep, me, him, and Samson would just fucking run rampant because I think he had a class that same time period that just would allow him to do so. But that shit was crazy. She was stupid as hell. She couldn't fucking rap. And, well, she couldn't, not only could she rap, she didn't even know the fucking foundation of rap. But yeah, she tried to call something a rap. It was actually a slap to the face to all the rappers out there in the world who actually know what the fuck rap structure and rhyme are. Like, it was ridiculous. Next teacher, Mrs. Pilgrim. I don't know where she got the nickname originally from, but we had a teacher who taught sociology and psychology, but come to find out, she wasn't credentialed to teach one of those, so she only was able to teach one of them, which I believe she was able to teach psychology, but not sociology, or sociology. So I think it might have been sociology, not psychology. I don't remember. Either way, this woman was very weird. I didn't have a problem with her myself, honestly. She was strange, but I mean, she didn't like piss me off or anything. But there was some rude ass kids, rude ass motherfuckers in my school that would treat her so bad, dude, that she would literally cry in class. She would cry. I mean, not my class. I would probably, I don't know, I might have said something to be like, hey, come on, can we not do this? But it was like in a different class, but she would cry. And she had like this weird haircut that would look like something a woman from the Mayflower might have had. I think that may be where she got her name from, but she was a sad lady. And man, dude, she cried all the goddamn time. No, not all the time. I mean, she probably cried like 4 times. But still, though, man, like that's just me cruel of the kids. But she had no backbone and was, I don't know, I guess her way of being invited to behavior. I don't fucking know, dude. There were so many times that people tried to like, teachers and stuff like would like come into class and like tell us like, hey, y'all need to be nicer. Not us, but you know, like coming from, they would tell me these things like, hey man, yeah, we had a teacher come in our class say, hey, we should be nicer to the teacher. And I'm like, well, duh, you guys probably should. But either way, dude, that was an interesting teacher thing. We got 2 more. We got Mr. Redneck H. Macy. He taught an electronics class in my high school. He was awesome. I call him that because he looked like a redneck version of William H. Macy with Dr. Phil kind of like combined, except he's not fat. He just kind of has a facial structure Dr. Phil-ish, but he looks like William H. Macy, an old version. Very unique. But he was a good guy, and we would shoot the shit most time in his class. Electronics was like, I mean, the funny thing is we have a local car dealer in my town, and he used to cheat on me in that class, and now everyone goes to him for like political knowledge for some reason in my town. It's fucking weird. What place do you go to where your local car dealer is your political information? Man, I don't fucking know. I live in a weird, shitty ass town, let me tell you. But Redneck H. Macy in this class that me and that shitty redneck car salesman guy, me, him, and this guy I was called Stoner Kid, who liked this movie, Rolling Kansas. Great movie, by the way. Not great, good movie, funny stoner film. But there was a bunch of other characters in that class. Let's see. Do I have anyone else wrote down? Not really. There's this skateboarding kid who was pretty cool in that class. I can't say his real name, so I can't think of a fucking nickname. I'm calling him Pharrell. We'll call him Pharrell because he kind of looked-ish like Pharrell. Not really. It's just a quick thing to go to, but he was cool. But we used to like fucking, I used to bring like shit to class. I brought this like a game that's like, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but it's like a 4, like, yeah, everyone holds a little thing in their hand. There's 4 of them, and like a light thing appears, and whoever hits the button last gets fucking like electric shocked, like not severely, you know, just like, you know, kind of hurts. And I brought that shit to class with full fresh batteries, dude. We played that for the whole entire time because I was able to argue that it was electricity related because of the shock it induced in us and everything. Fucking hilarious, dude. I end up leaving it in class, and like weekly we'd fucking play with it, dude, and buy new batteries for it and shit. And it was the greatest class. That dude was cool. And I saved the last story for a reason. It's a trigger warning story. So if you have any trigger warnings, just if you have to question whether you should listen to the story, you probably, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal in my opinion, but you know, viewer discretion is advised. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and restart this scene one more time just in case the story goes a little longer. Oh, maybe it won't loop. Yeah, either way, we'll see. So we're going to call the teacher Mr. Babadook, and it's just because, yeah, I don't know, he's kind of evil, but he's meant to not be. I don't know, you'll see. So he was a 6th grade teacher of mine, and he was a good guy at that time. You know, fucking me and a bunch of the school kids would hang out after class and like just chill, and like, you know, he would like offer us like, you know, snacks and stuff, and it was cool. I mean, like, it wasn't anything like bad, and like he would, I don't know, pal up with us, and he'd talk to the families of the students. He genuinely seemed like he tried to be a good teacher or whatever. And I remember one particular student friend of mine who moved away a while ago. He hung out with them more. Like, he didn't hang out with them like too much, but I do remember that they hang out with each other like outside of school, outside of like school period, like kind of odd. And then you'll see why even more further down the line. I think you can kind of smell maybe the trail of where this is going a little bit. Either way, he stopped teaching at our school and ended up being a principal at a school somewhere else for a decent amount of time. And then time goes by and I'm on social media and I see a person from either from that same exact school or someone who was close to that, someone who knows someone who went to that school, shared a post about him not being arrested for child molestation charges. And I don't remember how old the child was, but it was disgusting. And I don't doubt that it happened, thinking back about how like braceful, how nice he was to kids. And like, I'm glad that I only hung out with him in the school or after school on school premises setting. There was a time that I knew there was a time that he was a weird guy, kind of because of an anger issue he had, that me and another student were goofing off, and like we happened to go find where he was at, and he was like in a student or a teacher, not a student, but like a teacher conference. Like all the teachers and staff are in a conference. We kind of just stuck our heads in, and like we're like, oh shit, and we stuck our heads out. And see, I knew that video was going to. There we go. But yeah, and so we stuck our heads in, we stuck them out, and like we didn't say anything bad. We were a little loud, probably like walking in the halls because it was echoey because there's no one in there. And not about like 2 minutes later, he comes not running, but rushing, kind of anger stampeding to the room. He's like, well, I don't know why you guys did that. You guys made me look bad in front of the whole school and staff. And I'm like, oh goddamn. I mean, we didn't mean to. We were just we were sixth graders at the time, so maybe we should have known a little better. I don't know. It wasn't anything that he should have reacted in that way. And just that with the anger along with the, weird child connection. But the story gets even deeper, as I'm pretty sure when he was in custody, either waiting for his hearing or after sentencing or during sentencing or sometime during all of that, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, he actually committed and is no longer with us. So yeah. And yeah. So it's crazy. And he's it's an example of, you can't judge a book by its cover, even though it's one of those things where you always see those interviews where it's like, oh, I knew that guy was going to turn out fucking bad or whatever. I could always knew that something was weird about him or something like that. And it's like, well, that's something that you should have told somebody if you really had a true concern about that. Maybe you should have mentioned it, before it got that bad along. But since we're in the trigger warning part of the episode, I guess I have a bonus episode or a bonus little snippet part of the episode. Since 9/11 happened recently, I think it was literally 11 days ago at the time of the taping this. And I figured I'd mention my little snippet. I was in grade school, and I was in like a lesser well-to-do grade school in my town. It's not even a school anymore, if that tells you anything. And I remember, I'm pretty sure it was like in 4th or 5th grade. I can't remember exactly which one, but I do remember vividly that we were in class and nothing in particular special seems to be happening. And all of a sudden, the secretary walks in and whispers something to the teacher, and the teacher points at me and says, you need to go with her. And he could tell that something shook him a little bit, about whatever she must have told him. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh shit, I don't know. As a kid, I don't really know what I was thinking. I was probably thinking maybe someone was in the hospital or something, So I get down there, and my parents take me home, and like they don't say much in the car or anything. They just kind of say that something's happened. And they say that something that's definitely important has happened, and something that you need to know about, and something that's they kind of knew the impact of what it was before it even became as impactful as it was. I mean, it was pretty obvious how impactful it was. So they take me home, and I see it live when the second. I don't know. See, I get this part mixed up in my mind. I don't know if it's the second plane that hits. I know there's like more than one plane. I don't know if there was like another plane that hit the second tower or whatever happened, but I do remember seeing one of the collisions that either hit the second tower or was the second plane. See, that's why I'm confused. I'm confused if it was the second plane or was the second tower or both, or it was all like kind of like a panic confusion at the time. I still don't know because I didn't like want to look too deep into it. It's a fucking depressing topic and fucking terrible. But one thing that stuck in my mind about that all was that the student body, like out of all the student body, the only people that seemed to really nobody knew. They didn't tell the students. They didn't tell anybody. I was the only student in the whole class that was even taken out of school. And you would think that other parents would either want their kids to know or be taking their kids out, or like, and the only other person in the class at all who even probably had any indication was the teacher, because whenever she whispered to him was probably like, something to do with that. Plus, hey, we need to see him because of that event. But crazy stuff. But I hope you guys enjoyed these teacher tales. Been Amethyst Pudding, and you guys have a good one. Oh, look at I pointed the wrong way. There he is. Good boy. Oh, that's Helios making his little appearance there. Oh, he's a good boy.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos.